Oh, hello there, Poppets. I'm the librarian, and oddly enough, today I do not have a story to read. I have been put on craft table duty because I have a trait that the other two don't have. A working mouth. So, I am here today with Dr. Tiny, who you all know, and one of our newer friends, Piper. Piper is a musician, and so named because, well, he's dressed in pied clothing, just to say colorful, like the Pied Piper. And he has some little mouse friends. What are your mouse friends' names? Both of them are named Piccolo. But today, I have been tasked with making music from things that are not instruments. So what are we going to start with? Well, we were showing off the bottles first, so you don't stand very well. Put you there. You've got a little robe so you can stand well. Now, the doctor has left me with a few notes so that we can discuss the different tones of different bottles. Now, this tiny little one, this is about 60 milliliters filled all the way to the top when the doctor was measuring them. Now, some of them seem fairly easy. They've got an obvious neck, but then there's this long teardrop-shaped one. And they weren't sure where, the bulb stopped and the neck began, so when they measured out the volume of each of these, they went all the way to the top because, well, they all have tops. So this is what a 60 milliliter bottle sounds like. Can't quite get that. Let's try another one. This one's 225. There, I can get a good tone off of that one. Rather interesting. Okay. And this is 250. There we go. Yes, you need to blow right across the top. I am not a musician, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I read books, I don't do experiments. And the teardrop bottle is 150 milliliters. I can get a pretty good sound out of that. I'm going to try the 60 again. See if I've just been doing things wrong. Odd. Either it's too small or I just don't know what I'm doing. Now I've got Jester's maple leaf bottle. And this is much larger. I don't know how much it holds, but definitely more than these others. Why am I so bad at this? Why does it still taste like maple syrup? I thought you washed this. Maybe it was stuck in the grooves. There we go. Now it seems that the bigger the volume, the lower the note. I also have a proper jug, which doesn't have milliliters, but it is 64 fluid ounces. But the hole in the top is much bigger, so I don't know if that will make things harder or easier to blow across. There we go. I get a very nice low tone from that. As different from the high tone I get from a much smaller jar. Except this one seems... Yes, this one has a higher note than this one, even though it's got more volume. Well, I'm certain a proper science person would understand that. I do not. I only read science fiction. I don't necessarily understand science. Do you understand it? Well, you're not that kind of scientist. You don't know music. Well, Piper, you're a musician. You don't understand the science. Well, this is what you get for having the storyteller run a segment rather than one of the ones that know what they're talking about and do research ahead of time. The other thing that we can do to play with the tones is adding water. Let's see what happens. So this note. And if we add some water to it, there we go. Build that up about 2/3 of the way. Yes, it definitely makes a higher note. And I expect it's the same with this bottle too. I can get a pretty good sound off of that. Now the next thing we're going to be playing with, move you to a side, is wine glass rim. Now I've got the smaller wine glass, and I'm just going to put some water in to wet my finger. Now, I think the trick to this is you don't want a whole lot of water. You just want, you know, enough to lubricate a little bit. Let's see if I can get this to work. Of course I can't. Well, I'm getting a rubby noise, and I can slightly hear a proper tone under that. Maybe I do need a little more water. Let's try that. Okay, it is more water. I thought it was less water. Okay. Well. That's quite interesting. And Mac really doesn't like that, so I'm not going to play with this too much. But just to remember, this is the note. more water. What happens if we add some water? It should make a higher note if I add water to it. I don't think that's higher, that's just different. Let's fill you up more. I think that's actually getting lower. Well, Mac really doesn't like that noise, so I'm going to put that away. Don't want to torment our cat. Now, what was the other thing they wanted me to show you? Oh, yes. Give me a second to set up. To move all the bottles out of the way. Be taking up quite a bit of space on here. And I need some blocks. I think I'm going to roll my sleeves up a little. What I have here is a pegboard from a project that the jester did some time ago, but she no longer uses pegboard for it. What I can use it for is, well, she already set up these little pegs, so now I need to show you something else we can do with that. We've got elastics. Now, unfortunately okay, these two seem to be about the same size, same length. I'm going to put one on a longer set of pegs, or farther horizontal, and then one on these narrow, or this one that's shorter. Let's see what kind of sound it makes. I'm going to pull this out of the way so it doesn't just slap against itself. To hear it better, I'm going to put my microphone down next to it. That's reasonably pleasant. Let's try the other one. I can barely hear that one. Well, I've got different sized elastics. Let's try some of those out. Okay, I'm going to try. Okay, so the fullest extension, I've got a very narrow elastic, and then versus the fullest extension of the thick elastic. So thick elastic again. Now, my prediction is that the thin one will be a higher note. Okay, I was right about that one at least. Well, let's just play with these for a bit. Yeah, some of these don't make very good sounds. I think they do need to be stretched, far enough to be interesting. So let's try moving some of these pegs around. Let's try to make it even longer. Hope that my elastics don't snap. It's one of the medium elastics. Nice and long. Yes, I do think we get better sound from the more stretched they are. We've got the two thinnest ones here. I'm getting a lower note from the longer stretched one, but then these two aren't exactly the same size. I'm going to try it with the thickest ones because I know those are about the same size. Let's give that one a go. Okay, so we've got this one at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 apart, and then this one's at 8. So let's see what the difference in sound is. Well, they sound about the same to me, but I'm not the expert. Well, I think that's all that the doctor and Jester wanted me to tell you about. I'm just making sounds with, different things. I'd say things that you've got lying around the house, but I don't know if everybody has, pegboard and pegs available, but certainly got, bottles and probably wine glasses and certainly water. I think I am going to stick with reading stories rather than trying to be a musician. There does seem to be a certain amount of airspace needed to get a good sound out, because this one had been working until I added more water. Not water at all. As the doctor would say, stay hydrated.
not on camera, it works.